Welcome to Valley News Now. I'm Adam Shelton. In just a few minutes, we're going to have the North Dakota Athletics Press Conference live from Grand Forks. Until then, please stand by.
I don't want you to.
Appreciate you all being here this afternoon. We'll go ahead and get things started with head volleyball coach Jesse Tupac, opening statement from the coach, and then we'll open for some questions. Coach.
Great to see y'all. Had a really great weekend. At home for the first time this season, we hosted SIUE on Friday, UNI on Saturday, and West Virginia on Sunday. Walked away from the weekend 2-1 with wins against SIUE and West Virginia. And really proud of our team. It was a full team effort with a lot of different people coming in different places and providing a ton of value. But the coolest part for us was that we got some really great lessons Friday and Saturday that we were able to apply on Sunday as we took on West Virginia and beat them at home in 5, which is a big win for our program. So this week we're gearing up. We've got Belmont and Western Illinois on Thursday and Friday, and then one last week of non-conference competition next weekend when we go out to Green Bay to play Chicago State, Minnesota, and Green Bay, and then get ready for conference play.
Coach, what did you notice difference between those first 3 in there in New Mexico, these first 3 in Grand Forks, good or bad? What did you notice the differences?
Yeah, I think this team just continues to grow and get better at it in a lot of different ways, both on the court and off the court. And so for us, weekend 1 in New Mexico was a chance to try out a couple different lineups and see where people were going to be at their best. And we really found a lineup that we felt was pretty solid for us that weekend after going 5 with New Mexico and then beating Tulane. And so this weekend, after spending a week with that lineup and practicing through it and seeing all the different ways that we could exploit some advantages that we have or maybe cover up some weaknesses, it was cool to put that lineup in action against 3 really, really scrappy defensive teams.
What does the West Virginia result do for a roster? That's got to just maybe hit a little different than typical win here.
Yeah, they're a really physical team, obviously competing in the Big 12. They got some big bodies, they got some big arms, and they've got a ton of range. And so it's nice to go up against a team that's more physical than you and play better volleyball than they do and play cleaner longer. I think that was a big lesson from our match against UNI on Saturday, where they did some really nice things and we battled with them point for point, but ultimately they were just a little bit better, a little bit longer than we were. And so the challenge for us on Sunday was, can we do that same thing that UNI did to us against West Virginia? And we did. We battled really hard in the first, second, and third set, and then the fourth and fifth set, we were just better longer, and it showed. We were pretty dominant those 2 last sets.
Okay.
Well, you go first.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you go first.
Keys for closing out matches in less than 5 sets.
Yeah, I think for us, even after the win against West Virginia, we said, hey, we probably could have won that in 3 or 4 if we were a little cleaner in certain situations. And so as we grow in our ability to communicate and take care of simple plays and making sure that we're capitalizing on the advantages and the opportunities that we have, I think we'll start to see that happening faster and earlier.
How have you seen Harleen grow?
Yeah, I mean, Harleen is just an incredible human being. She celebrated her birthday last weekend, which was awesome for her. But she's just really able to provide value in so many different ways. She's our first server in every single set that we play. And I mean, we saw in the match that she went on multiple runs against all the teams this weekend where she was putting a lot of pressure on them from the service line. And then she goes out and she hits 587, I think it was, against West Virginia in 5 sets and carries a huge load offensively there. But she was also the defensive player of the week last week, averaging over a block and a half a set. And then she's able to come in and dig a few balls, and she's actually a phenomenal out-of-system setter. And so she's not providing value in any one way, but in all the different ways that she adds value, she is just racking up points in a really impressive way.
How would you say she's stepped up, especially with absences of like Marissa McAllister?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a really talented middle core every single year that I've been here. And Marissa Stockman and Casey Odell obviously carried a huge load for us last year. But Haroline and Vanessa Washington are doing a phenomenal job this year. They've both had multiple matches where they've hit over 400 and been major parts of our offense. Whether they're the ones getting the kills or they're drawing the block in a way that gives our outside hitters one-on-one opportunities as well.
All right, Coach, what do you want to see from your team in the slate before conference play kicks off?
Yeah, I think, again, kind of what we talked about earlier is can we start closing out matches earlier and taking advantage of the opportunities that we have. I thought we probably could have taken West Virginia in 4 sets had we taken care of a couple plays in the second and the third that could have gone our way if we were a little more on top of what we were doing. And so now it's a challenge for us to be how disciplined can we be and can we play at our best level regardless of who's on the other side of the net.
And after multiple 5-set matches so far this season, how's your heart doing?
It's great. We love 5-set matches. Every time we walk into the huddle before the 5th set begins, we're like, all right, here we go. This is awesome. I think for us, it's just more validation. Like, hey, if we stay true to who we are and how we want to play, then we're going to have success. And it doesn't matter whether it takes 3 sets or 5 sets. We're going to fight through every point.
Thank you, Coach.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Coach.
And now we'll hear from Gina Rivero and defensive specialist Izzy McCormick.
Your voice is like so satisfying.
It's awesome. Questions for Izzy?
Well, Izzy, what are you noticing about this season that's allowed you guys to get off to a nice start as maybe opposed something that you guys are doing better at this year than perhaps in the past?
I think in general we're connecting a lot more. We go out on the court every single time and we make sure we make eye contact and give high fives to everyone. And our communication is something that we work on every single day in practice, and making sure we stay consistent with that and putting that on the court gives us just a better advantage over other teams.
What did you think of a win over West Virginia? How is that something that maybe you can take forward?
I mean, super exciting. I think Jesse hit on it as well. Just we could have probably finished that match in 3 or 4, but big win for us. Gets us super excited going into this week again at home. And I think just in general, taking away the lessons of communicating, staying connected, and just being a big team win at home is super important going into this week.
Coach kind of hit on your new era as middle. What have you seen from some of the new talent up front there?
I think in general, we work on it every day at practice. It's the same thing. I think if we have new people out there on the court or, our lineup from last year, I think regardless, we're able to make the change, to stay connected, to keep our communication super high and keep everyone involved.
Same thing I asked Coach, just what's it going to take to not bring these to 5 sets so often?
Yeah, I think just our consistency in general. Working on it in practice, closing out, little games to 5 to 15, creating little challenges at practice, keeping it just really competitive so that when we get into those settings, we're able to handle the pressure and finish out those games.
Now, a question for you is, what are you hoping to see from this team, going into these final slate of games before conference play kicks off?
I think just having a lot of fun. I think it's super fun to have 2 weeks at home, especially for non-conference games where we play, bigger components. And I think just in general, just having fun, keeping it lighthearted, and, staying connected as a team.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Now we'll hear from senior middle Arlene Delos, Santos Lugo. Questions for Arlene?
What have you thought about the start to the season? Why have you guys had a successful opener here?
I think it was because of our practices. I think the coaches designed a really hard practice that really prepared us for our upcoming games.
How about you personally? How have you had success? What has been the key to having a good couple of weekends here?
I think just the trust and the supporting of our teammates. I think we have a really good supporting system between teammates and coaches.
What's it been like for you taking on a bigger role this year, both offensively and defensively?
I mean, it has been a really great opportunity. I never felt this way before, so I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
You say you've never felt this way before, but how have the coaches and maybe your teammates helped you gain that confidence to reach this point?
I think being in such a higher level than I was before, just being able to communicate what I need, what I feel with my coaches and my teammates as well is pretty important.
Obviously wins are great, but what does this roster, that locker room mean to you in terms of your growth and playing on the court with them?
I feel like every single person on our team is really connected, and it doesn't feel like we have new people. It feels like we've been together for a longer period than we ever noticed before. So having that connection really feels really great, and it makes it easier to being effective on the court and as well as practices. Thank you.
Coach Schweiger will be here momentarily.
We waiting on him? We ain't never did improv. Tell him that is not acceptable. It won't be for me, but you can see. Yeah, nah. Somebody's complaining about you, Coach John.
All right, good afternoon. Thanks for coming, and I'll just go back to Saturday night. I thought, the day was really great for our football program. Awesome environment out at the Alaris Center. You pull up to the game, and a lot of people creating a great game day atmosphere, and you get into the building, and packed house, a lot of energy, and, we'd like to get off to a better start. And that didn't happen. We gave up a couple of explosive plays on defense and didn't move the ball the first offensive drive, but still had some good things happen in the second quarter that I think helped our team. And getting a fourth down stop, got the crowd into it a bit, gave us some confidence, and then to hold them to a field goal late in the first half, I thought that was really a key moment in the game as you look back. And then really proud of our team, the way we responded at halftime. We're always talking to our team about things happen and how you respond is really important. And our guys, I think, we're not pleased with how we played, but we're in a good spot and staying together. And we knew we'd get the ball the second half, and that drive was really key to go down and score. And then, just really played complementary football throughout the game, controlling the ball on offense. I think we had it for 24 minutes the second half, 3 and outs on defense, and then, hit the 2 field goals late in the game. They wanted to put us ahead and had to defend a 2-minute drill, and really got pressure on the quarterback throughout the second half, but we also pressured them in that situation. So pleased with the win, and now we got to move forward and prepare for Idaho State, who's a talented team. I think they're balanced, even though they throw the football more than they run it. Their 3 tailbacks that have played are very impressive, good in the open field. Defensively, they're very active up front. Linebackers play downhill, and I think this team's really tackled well in space, so it's hard to get big plays on them because they're very aggressive to the ball and they tackle well. So we're just learning a lot about them. Haven't played them for a while. Coach Hawkins is doing a great job building that program, and I'm sure they'll be ready on Saturday.
I guess you kind of answered it there. I was going to ask you, looks like they like to throw it around. Does that change defensive approach, mentality, anything different for your defense going against a team that traditionally really likes to throw it?
Yeah, I think, it's different because they don't play with a tight end, so they really have you spread out. So but that doesn't mean they don't run the football. I'm very impressed with Austin and Cowie, and those guys are good runners when they get it, and they get you in space, and then they'll run the quarterback at times. They played 4 different quarterbacks, have stats at this time, so to figure out who's going to be in the game and who's playing, we're still working on that right now. But, you got to have maybe a different approach. They get rid of the ball quickly. They throw it deep, and those guys go up and get it. They're talented at receivers, so this will be a challenge for us, and how you practice to get ready for that, it's hard to replicate, but we're going to do the best we can with our work teams.
How do you approach the success here? A top 10 ranking, a win over a number 4 team in the country. You guys maybe feel like you struggled with success last year coming off that win over North Dakota State. Do you want them to think about that situation in the parallels, or do you say that was a different team in a different situation?
I think this team is different, but we sure want to learn from the past. And I shared with the team really early. I shared with it after the game. I shared with them yesterday that I got to do a better job in these situations because in our recent history, we haven't followed up games like we had Saturday night with a good enough performance. And how do we perform better? I think it all comes down to our preparation and blocking the outside noise, which is really difficult to do. The players are no different than the coaches. You're still getting feedback and people wanting to talk about that game, and we got to do a great job of preparing for Idaho State, and that needs to be our focus because this team should have our full attention. They played Oregon State, and they were toe-to-toe with Oregon State. The score doesn't look like it at the end of the game, but that game was very close, and then they took care of business last week, so they'll come in here with a lot of confidence and ready to play.
Your ability to get after the quarterback. What did you like about it? What did you see that allowed you guys to rush the passer better than maybe you did last year?
Yeah, we did get a lot of pressure coming from different places. We came off the edge a couple times and got there. I thought Craig Orlando was dynamic in his pass rush, just powerful pass rush up the middle. Our linebackers were active, so it came from a number of different places, and we needed to do that. Game 1, we didn't disrupt the quarterback. In Game 2, we were able to disrupt the quarterback, and it really helped us in our overall performance. We actually disrupted them on one of the touchdowns. When you get opportunities, you got to get them down. So it affects the game, and somehow we're going to have to affect quarterbacks again this week. When you throw the ball that much, you're going to have to affect the quarterback.
Coach, since the last time you played Idaho State in 2021, they've had a lot of struggles, a lot of turnover with a pair of 1-win seasons and a pair of head coaching changes. What do you think about how Cody Hawkins is rebuilding that program in his second season there?
Well, I see him doing an excellent job. They they are very balanced on offense. We get this impression that they just want to throw it, but they can run the football effectively. So they're difficult to prepare for. Their skill level is high. These two defensive ends, Horton and Logan, what's his name, George, they're active, those guys, and they aren't the only guys they have. And I was really impressed with the way they tackled Oregon State in space. When they were one-on-one, they got guys to the ground, and therefore you don't give up big plays. And so he's really done a good job. I know his father's on staff now in there helping him, and had a lot of respect for him throughout the years. But I think Coach Hawkins is doing a really good job with Idaho State.
Especially after the win over the weekend against Montana, how much do you think your group is gelling 2 games into the season?
Oh, we have so much to work on yet. We're still learning about our team. I think Coach Frichte and Coach Olson have done a good job up to this point, and we're trying to, every year you're different and trying to learn a lot about your personnel, and we're still learning about our personnel, whether it's on offense, defense, special teams. But I'm pleased with the progress we've made and where we're at, but we're in a good spot. But that doesn't matter at this point. We got to keep learning and stay on edge, that we really, really focus on our preparation. That's really important for our team.
You touched on it with Tom, but just the importance of your defensive line having another solid week, especially coming off their second half performance. What have you seen out of them maybe so early on that you might not have had usually through week 2 in past years?
Yeah, I think, Coach Pfleger has worked hard on improving our pass rush, worked hard on, rotating guys in to keep us fresh. I think that's helped us. We've had some depth there, and our depth got challenged this past week. We lost Braden Moore for the season, and, Miles Terry was unable to play on Saturday. So, our depth was challenged, and we got to keep guys ready and keep our young guys and new guys in the program. So we worked hard on it, but we are by no means a finished product. We got to keep pushing to keep improvement going. And we talked to the team yesterday about self-improvement improves our football team. So if everybody in our building is concerned about improving themselves, we're going to make our team better, and that's the goal.
Obviously, Simon is a different style quarterback than what you've seen with Tommy the last few years, but to stick with him and to have the trust in him, what does that kind of say about his character and why you guys believe in him?
Well, he's very competitive, as you see out there in 2 weeks, and we just see how he is when he comes to work, to practice, to meetings, and his demeanor. And, he's going to accept responsibility for the entire offense. So he's really a good leader, and he's tough. I think we saw that. And he's going to push to get better. And so that gives us a lot of faith. I know the guys rally around him. If you could see when he had the touchdown run, that celebration tells you a lot how they feel about Simon.
Talking about being at home too, Tom had mentioned not falling into a rut like past times, but how do you make sure that you still bring the excitement at home when there's 4 in a row and that you don't kind of just settle into a routine?
Well, routine's important, but every week's got to be different. For us, it was different playing at night. Hadn't done that for a while at home, and now the day's going to go quicker on Saturday. We got to be ready earlier in the day, and our guys got to be able to handle that situation. But we sure hope we get the students out there. They create quite an atmosphere, and the other folks and our supporters, they play a factor in our games, and we hope they're out there. But we really got to play and create the atmosphere. When we make good plays, the buildings are electric, and if we aren't doing that, it can become a little stale in there. So you got to play. You really got to play.
Coach, your rushing attack was pivotal in that game against Montana. What did you see from your stable of running backs that have you guys confident that you can lean on them in these situations?
Yeah, we like our depth there, and we like it that each guy is a little bit different running style, and it all starts up front with our guys playing hard, getting on the right guys, and just putting forth great effort. And the one thing that really helped us the other night, we just didn't have negative plays. I believe in the whole game, they were minus 10 yards. That's the only yardage that we lost. So when you're able to stay in favorable down and distance situations, really helps your team. And then we've been able to, limit our penalties. We had some. We want 0, but that's a little unrealistic. But the penalties that we've limited, those have really helped our football team.
And Coach, we learned on Saturday there's 3 things certain: death, taxes, and UND winning home openers. For you, how do you guys keep up this momentum?
Well, you got to build off it. You should build confidence, but I really believe confidence comes with preparation. So we got to do that. And for some reason, we've been able to play well at home, and we want that to continue. Even when it doesn't look great, we've been able to hang together and really play entire 60-minute games. And you just got to believe that good things are going to happen. If you stay together and play hard, you got to believe good things will happen.
You talked about it earlier about how disrupting the quarterback was a key component to your victory against Montana. How, kind of bouncing off of him, how do you keep that same defensive energy heading into this week?
Well, I think defense is a lot about playing with energy. So every week, you got to be excited to play. This game's so different than a lot of other games. We practice so much more than we get opportunities to keep score. So this is just another opportunity, and we got to stay really hungry and be excited to get out there and play and not take anything for granted. Just because we're at home doesn't mean we automatically play well. You play well because you prepare well, and then you get really focused and you play with a lot of energy on defense at game time.
You're talking about that energy. The stadium obviously gets very loud when you guys are on a roll with all that momentum. How much do you think that stadium's energy puts into your guys' players? Does it help whenever they hear the crowd roaring, or does it kind of take them away from focusing and locking in on the moment?
Well, I think it helps us overall. Does it create some challenges? Communicating on defense becomes a challenge, but you also got to remember the offense is trying to communicate with all that atmosphere too. So overall, it's a great help for us, and we really appreciate it that people are out there supporting us, and it's like a 12th man, and we got to take advantage of it, but we also got to be able to handle the atmosphere too and stay focused.
Coach, we know your part for your team on Potato Bowl week, but can you just take a general overview of kind of your perception of Potato Bowl from years past and kind of what it means to the region and the community in the lead up to the game?
Yeah, it's a great week. Great week for UND football, a great week for Grand Forks, for UND and the surrounding area. We know that ag's really important to our state, and we're going to support it by bringing attention to it. And with the week-long celebration, it's great for the people. And once again, our guys got to block out all that because our role is to go win the football game. And it's been a great tradition, and it's really fun to be part of it. But we also know that our role has to be the game, and that's what we're focusing on. But great for our region, and I've read a lot about the history on the game, how it became part of it, and obviously we think our potatoes are better than their potatoes or whatever. So should be a lot of fun.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll have the captain, fullback / tight end, Jaden Norton. We'll open it up for questions.
Jaden, first off, maybe what did you like about what the offense accomplished against Montana, and maybe what can you build off of that performance?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in that game is just the belief. First half, a little frustrating, but our belief at halftime was huge, and we just knew we could do it. And I thought we ran the ball well. We strung together drives, and we scored. And each drive, it just felt like it kept getting better. So scoring at the end and keeping it rolling is really important for us.
Obviously, you're a big part of the run blocking scheme, but the run blocking success has maybe surprised people with all the inexperience there. At what point did you realize that maybe you guys could still be a team that could rely on the run game despite all this newness on the offensive line?
I think it started this summer. Like the guys that came back and just the leaders that we have on this team, it started from there. We started building it from there, and like you create trust in the off season, and you can hold each other accountable. So like when it came game one, like you know what your teammate's doing right next to you, and you trust them, and we're able to run the ball against two really good opponents, and we want to keep doing that. We take pride in running the ball here.
You probably heard me ask Coach Schweiger, but what do you think about handling success? How you come out of a big win versus maybe how you guys struggled with that a year ago from the North Dakota State to Northern Iowa situation?
Yeah, we can use this to keep learning. I believe that we have a lot to work on still early in the season, but we can still build our confidence, but we're on to the next game.
Yeah, Jaden, on a similar note there, going off of this big one, how do you guys keep that energy for Idaho State on Saturday?
Well, like I said, back to work, and we got to come to work tomorrow with the same energy we came in last week, and we got another really good opponent. Watching film, their gap integrity is pretty impressive, and they got some really good DNs and backers and corners and safeties, and I was impressed with their tackling, like Coach Schweigert mentioned earlier, and it's going to be a good test for us this weekend.
Especially after the win against Montana, how do you think this group is gelling together through two games into the season?
Yeah, I mean, each game we're getting to know each other more, and when it gets to those long drives, you can look at each other and like, all right, here we go. Let's keep running the ball and just keep going from there, and let's get a big one this coming week.
Based on what you've learned at Iowa State and at home against Montana, do you feel like you've taken away components to put you on a better trajectory towards that complete game, maybe earlier than years past, just because of what you've been tested against?
Yeah, I think playing these two really good teams, like it's not very often you get a number 4 team to come in the country to play them at a night game, and with that hilarious atmosphere, it helps out a lot. And it's so weird when you're out there. It's almost like you're in a phone booth. You don't even feel it at the time, but it does make a big difference. The more fans there, the better. And I just think starting out the game, we got to come prepared, and starting out fast is one of our bigger goals, and staying consistent is another one too.
Right. You guys are getting ready for Idaho State. How's the locker room feeling coming off the emotional high of winning that game against Montana? And now you guys are getting ready for this upcoming game.
Yeah, I mean it's on to the next big win, but we're back to work tomorrow, and we're excited to get to watch the film and keep getting better.
All right, and then that next question is obviously your guys' offensive line and tight ends with the blocking has been pivotal. How important is it that you guys are gelling as quickly as you guys are to help out the running backs and Simon as well?
Yeah, I mean, running backs and our quarterback, we're going to run through a wall for those guys. And we got the 3-headed monster in the running back room, and Simon, he's going to do his thing back there too. And I think you just look at each other and you're like, all right, let's do this. Let's go for a 23-play drive, and let's go score at the end.
What are you kind of looking forward to or expecting for this next game?
I mean, I want to start out by running the ball, but I want to see more of a complete game. I want to start from first half to fourth quarter and play a full 60 minutes.
I asked Coach this too, but obviously the stadium's energy plays a big role into how you guys respond to that. How does it feel on the field whenever you have the stadium roar like that? Does it impact you in a good way or a bad way?
I think it's always in a good way. It's so weird when you're out there. I don't hear the crowd noise, but when I'm on the sideline cheering on the defense, it is super loud. And I think that kind of feeds into the Laris magic a lot, and there's no better atmosphere.
Kind of bouncing off of that, playing at home, do you think that that's an advantage for you guys or a disadvantage for, somebody said, for the next few weeks you guys will be constantly playing at home?
I think it's a huge advantage for us. I mean, you have 12,000 fans cheering you on, good or bad, and you can't beat it. No better place to be.
Thanks, Rory.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Up next, we have Captain Linebacker Wyatt Pettigo.
We'll open it up for questions.
Why did it feel good as a defense kind of break through with 6 sacks and just impacting the game the way you guys did in that second half?
Yeah, it felt good to turn it around there. First half didn't look good at all. Just a couple of mistakes there, here and there that cost big plays. In that second half, we really locked in and caused no mistakes and then got 3 and out. So you always have to be happy with that.
It's one game, of course, but do you feel like there's anything you guys are doing better that allowed this kind of breakthrough?
Yeah, we're starting to learn ourselves a little bit better. You know, we got a whole lot of new guys out there playing, so we're starting to learn what everyone does better, and that's helping with the play calls, and Coach Swins is getting that right. And I just think we're gelling together more.
How quickly did the coaching staff address moving on from Montana to Idaho State? You know, did you guys get a chance to enjoy the Montana win, or how fast did they snap you back to reality?
We always have a 24-hour period. After 24 hours, you got flushed and move on to the next week. So that's pretty much how we roll.
Do you take anything away from the situation from North Dakota State to Northern Iowa last year, comparing to this?
Yeah, we just got to stay one game at a time, and we got to realize that our end goal wasn't just to beat Montana. Our end goal is to win a national championship, and to do that, we got to bring it each and every week and get better.
It's no secret that Idaho State throws the ball a lot. As a defense, what's the hardest part of shutting down their offense?
We're just going to have to be good in space. They want to spread us out. We got to shut that down and tackle.
Especially after the win at Montana, how much do you think your group is gelling 2 games into the season?
Yeah, we're starting to build a lot of confidence, especially after that second half. We just got to keep building off that. We show what we can do when we're locked in and we're on our assignments, so we just got to keep doing that.
All right, Wyatt, you guys are getting ready for Idaho State. What are you seeing so far in terms of what you guys are preparing? Because you guys have faced off against teams that like to run the ball. Now you're going up against a team that likes to throw it a lot.
Yeah, I haven't got in to watch film yet, but I heard it's a lot of 10 personnel, so no tight ends really in the game. So it's going to be spread out. They're going to try and hit probably quick screens, quick outs, quick hitches, and stuff like that. Try and just get us spread out and running sideline to sideline.
And for those that watching the game and they don't know all the intricacies with that, what's it like when you're facing a team that isn't stacking the box and running the ball down the field, but they're, like you said, screens, passes to the outside and everything? What's it like going up against that?
You just have to be more locked in because they're going to challenge you and get you breathing hard and start running tempo probably and just get you really thinking. So you got to be more locked in.
So now I've kind of asked everybody this, but disrupting the quarterback in the last game against Montana was obviously a huge component to your guys' win. How do you plan to keep that same energy and same momentum heading into this next game?
Yeah, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Plan doesn't change. We still keep calling the same plays, same everything. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing. And if we keep doing that, good things will happen.
What are your expectations for this next game?
I expect us to go out there and fly around. They're going to spread us out, but I feel like we have good pursuit every day. We practice it every day. So I feel like we're going to be able to shut that down.
And then another similar question, obviously the stadium's energy, having the whole fans there roaring for you guys on every single play. What is that like on the field for you guys?
Personally, I feed off that. I love it. The louder it is, the better in there. You can really tell it hurts the other team's offense because they can't communicate as well up front. The quarterback can't get checks in. So it really hurts them. And I just think the whole defense feeds off it. The louder in there, it is better.
Anything else for Wyatt? Thanks, gotta go.
Thanks.
All right, switching on to soccer, we'll have Associate Head Coach Henrik Sohn here. Hopefully, as a precursor to the rest of the week, UND's coming off a win over Idaho State, 2-1 on Friday afternoon, and then we'll host Jamestown tomorrow before a trip to Montana and CSUN this weekend. So we'll open up to questions for Coach Sohn.
Well, Coach, what did you like coming out of that Idaho State game? It sounded like it was kind of a wild finish, but did you like the overall result there, or how you guys played in general?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job, especially second half. We made some adjustments in halftime, and the team executed really well, so I was very happy with that. I like that we went back to being us again after a tough trip on the road in the Carolinas where we got 2 losses. So we had to bounce back, and we did that at home, so we're very happy with the result.
What do you expect from the Montana matchup? I feel like they've typically been pretty good lately.
Yeah, Montana's a very good team. It's going to be tough playing at Montana, but If we have that blue collar mentality we had against Idaho in the second half, I think we have a shot. You know, we got to be all in everything we do, and then we have a chance of winning that game. Like, we go into every game with that blue collar mentality, giving our all and being all in. Every single person on the roster, we have a chance to beat anyone. So I'm very excited for that game, and I think we have a good shot at it.
Coach, in that the final seconds of that game, you know, what was going through your head when you saw the penalty kick go off to the left there?
I was just very relieved because I think overall we deserve to win that game, but you know, that's how the game goes. Sometimes the referee made the call. From my angle, I couldn't tell if it was a penalty or not because it was on the other end of the field, but he decided that that's what it was. So we were just hoping that, you know, either Sydney pulls a save or she misses, and she did miss. So we were very relieved because the team deserved that win. We worked hard, especially in the second half. From the body of work, I truly felt like we were the better team throughout the 90 minutes, and we deserved that win. So I was just very happy and relieved for all the girls because they needed that, we needed that, and they were really happy. You could see the reactions after she missed the penalty, and I think that speaks volume to how much that meant to the girls and how much it meant to the coaching staff and the program as a whole.
And then final question I have for you is, you know, first half you guys were getting peppered by shots, but your defense really stepped up, and so did the goalie. You know, what does that say about your team's mentality that even if the offense isn't clicking yet, that they can hold on and keep it 0-0?
Yeah, we talk a lot about unshakable mentality, and I think that showed in the first half. You know, it is easy to just give up in a moment and say, oh Lord, today it's going to be a long day. But no, we kept in the game, we kept fighting, we were all in, and our mentality wasn't shook in that moment. And that's what matters, and that's what gave us the opportunity to come back with a better offense in the second half and win the game. So we got to give credit to the back line in the first half, and Sydney as well in goal. She's done a great job, and the back line in general this year has been rock solid. So you got to give credit to these ladies back there that kept us in the game and gave us a chance to win it in the end.
I have one question for you. What's something that you're hoping your team executes or walks away with within this next game? Obviously a win, but what specifically are you looking for?
I think we need to be a little bit more efficient in the attacking third. We're doing a good job of getting chances, but we just need to put them away. I think that's something I hope we can develop, and we've been working on it. And you know, we just gotta start clicking a little bit more and finishing our chances. The hardest part about the game, you know, like we're doing a good job getting in the spots, but we have to hit the back of the net. And you know, I think it's kind of like the ketchup bottle effect. You know, when you shake the ketchup bottle and you shake and you shake and you shake, and then everything comes at once. I hope that happens to us this weekend, and everything comes at once, and we're going to score all the goals this coming games.
Anybody else for Coach? Perfect. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
That was the North Dakota Athletics press conference live from Grand Forks. Be sure to tune in tonight for more in-depth analysis from our sports team at Valley News Live. Until now, you've been watching Valley News Now. Have a great afternoon.